In the last module of this course, we're going to set up what happens when a player arrives from outside the game. We set up a destination in the Oculus dashboard with the intention of sending a player to the game stage, so if they see it advertised online or see a friend that is playing it and they think, I also want to play that, they could be sent directly to the game stage map ready to play. In this module, we'll also use a node from the provided source files that enables us to tell our friends where in the Oculus universe we are. This is called Rich Presence. The game that we have made is not a multiplayer experience, but if yours is, you can use the functions provided in the source files to allow your friends to find you and join your match. We'll be using these functions just to tell them where we are. Let's start though with getting the destination set up. Open our game mode _ darts. We'll first make sure that the BP Oculus OSS is in the map to check for that received message. We don't want BP Oculus OSS to handle low-level logic that something like the game mode would normally be responsible for, so we'll set up BP Oculus OSS to receive the event and the message and have the game mode handle what to do with that info. Create a custom event named check for BP Oculus OSS. Right-click and search for Get All Actors of Class. Set the class to BP Oculus OSS. From the array, search for length and check if the value is greater than or equal to 1 and connect the result to a branch. If true, get the 0 index from the array and promote it to a variable named BP Oculus OSS. If false, create a spawn actor from class, setting the class to our BP Oculus OSS, simply break the struct for the transform data, and save the return value as BP Oculus OSS variable. And then the return value we'll set. Call this at the end of begin play. I'm just going to comment for this to make sure the Oculus OSS is in the map. With this event, we're ensuring that there is an instance of BP Oculus OSS in our map. Open BP Oculus OSS and create an event dispatcher named player arrived with one string input named message. Call this directly after our event on received deep link message BP and compile. So as mentioned, we're not going to be handling this here, we're going to handle this in the game mode. So drag our event dispatch and call it immediately after receiving this call. Plug in our DLL message into the message and compile. Return to our game mode darts. After we set the value of the BP Oculus OSS variable, get a reference to this variable and bind an event on player arrived. Plug it into both sets. Drag backwards from bind event to player arrived and search for create event. In the dropdown, select create a matching event. I'm going to rename this to arrived via deep link and compile. So now when we receive this message, we're going to call our event dispatcher. And when game mode sets up the BP Oculus OSS in the map, it's going to be listening for that event dispatcher. So when it receives the message, it's going to call this bound event, and arrived via deep link will call, providing us the message that it received. Here is where you can create the switch to change what happens depending on the message received. Because we only have one destination, I'll ignore the message and instead get all actors with interface, add a for each loop, and call player entered via deep link. So again, this is where you could put in the switch if you wanted. I'll be ignoring that, and I'm just going to say a get all actors with interface. And from the interface, this our BPI darts com, and I'm going to add a for each loop and call the function player entered via deep link. And I'll compile. When this gets called, we'll want our BP travel to blueprint to be one of the actors to receive this message. Open BP travel to and right-click in the event graph. Search for event player entered via deep link. After this event is called, set the value of course level to travel to C0 game stage, then call the event travel to. And then we're going to call travel to. Now when we arrive through deep link to our destination, we'll tell our game mode to tell our BP travel to prepare the level and send us there. The rest of the game will react as normal. At the end of this module, I'm going to separately package and upload the build to the dashboard so we can see this in action. Until then, let's talk about rich presence. The Oculus OSS files provided contain many of the API calls that you would use in your social projects. Things like setting your match as joinable or not, updating the server with how many people are in the match and how many are still allowed to join, what text should be written on your profile when you are playing a specific game. This is what we'll do in ours. When a dart game starts, we're going to update our presence to read playing darts. So inside of BP Oculus OSS, create a custom event named update rich presence. Search for set rich presence deep link message override and plug the string input into our event and compile. Back in game mode darts, look for our player scored event. At the end of it, create a do once, then get a reference to BP Oculus OSS and call update rich presence. I'm going to type in the message playing darts. Okay, I'm going to package this and I'll be right back when it's finished uploading and we can enter the destination from my web browser. I finished packaging and uploaded my build into our alpha channel, and it has now gone through the test and it's ready to be tested. Let's go to our platform services. I've closed Unreal Engine, so this is going to work without complications. I'm going to open destinations and manage app grouping, and I'm going to click on the three dots here and I'm going to click go to destination. Now here is the link to our destination that we can share with our friends. The image that was uploaded, and let's give this a go. I have the option here to use, because there's a Rift version and a Go version, but this version of the destination or this version of the app is not built for Go. This is only built for Rift. So remember, if I were to open up the package, it would start in lobby. And then we'd go through the whole process, right? When this destination was made, I wanted to not go to the lobby. I wanted to skip it and go straight to the game stage. So if I have found myself on this page, I am here to enter the darts game stage. So when I press open, that's where I should end up, despite the game defaulting to open up to our lobby. Let's try it out. Open, and I'm in VR, and I was in the lobby for just a second, and now I'm in the game room. It sent me immediately to the game room, and now I can show my friends that I am a better dart player than they are. Okay, well, I guess, maybe. In this course, we prepared the Oculus dashboard to handle achievements, leaderboards, and destinations. We added new assets to our project for us to move around various levels and be shown a splash screen while they are quickly loaded in the background. We converted our blueprint project to use C++ classes and then created a blueprint to inherit from a provided source file and used it to receive messages from a web browser to change our game. I had fun. Okay, this is when I say goodbye. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope you learned a lot. Jimmy will be back in the next course to teach you about using mixed reality in Oculus VR. Enjoy it.